Alright, so for this week's video, we actually have a lot of Resident Evil news to go over, but we'll actually start with the smaller news first and then we'll trickle down to the bigger news for last. But anyways, let's get started with Resident Evil Reverse. Resident Evil Reverse added a new character to their ranks, and to be honest, I wasn't expecting another Hound Wolf squad member to join the ranks so quickly, but apparently the Resident Evil Reverse developers decided to give us another no-name character. Even though, as we covered last week, they already gave us everything that they said that they were going to give us in their calendar, so I'm assuming they're probably going to give us another calendar for next year. Hopefully they actually give us some new game modes, because to be honest, I'm kind of getting tired of the whole let's give the players more no-name characters. Let's give them the whole Wolf Squad. Like, nobody cares. They all look the same. I'm pretty sure nobody in the community is asking for another Hound Wolf squad member. We want other actual characters with actual names and also other game modes. If Capcom can't see that, then the game is already dead. Speaking of multiplayer games, Capcom should literally just hire the developers from Behavior Interactive, the guys that brought Dead by Daylight, to literally make them a standalone multiplayer game, because they've done a great job so far, bringing both Nemesis and Albert Wesker into their game. Can you imagine if they just made a standalone game? I think it would be sick, but they recently released 2 new ugly Christmas sweaters for both Ada Wong and Rebecca Chambers. Now, these are limited sweaters that will be available until January 4th, 2023. It's also worth noting that they've also made Leon's ugly sweater and Jill's ugly sweater from the previous year also available to purchase as well. And if you guys are enjoying this content, then make sure to subscribe and knife that like button, since it helps the algorithm and myself know that you guys want more videos like this. Also, I go live every Saturday on the channel. Now, for the last bit of news, and this is actually pretty shocking to be honest, Capcom has decided to make an ambassadors event where they're actually having the Resident Evil developers have a discussion with Resident Evil fans. They're giving fans a chance to share their opinions, thoughts with development teams in a fun, interactive way to make improvements to the series. Now, this is actually pretty weird. I've never heard of them doing anything like this before, but let me know down in the comments. You know, I might be wrong, but this is kind of a curveball in my opinion. I think this would probably be the best thing for the series, since Capcom rarely discusses their thoughts with fans, especially when it comes to multiplayer Resident Evil games. I think personally the last time that Capcom asked fans for their input was for the Resident Evil 2 remake. So personally, this might go either two ways. Either the first way, which Capcom literally just kind of does like a census, and it's basically just to see how fans like the recent games and they don't really do much with the info. Or they actually want to hear the fans' feedback on where Resident Evil is headed next. I think this might be the best opportunity to tell them what we want to see is original characters like Jill or anyone else from the series. And since it's already been confirmed with the recent Shadow of Rose that the Winter Saga has ended, so we're actually not going to be seeing any of the Winterses again. I think maybe they are taking this opportunity to ask fans what they would like to see for future installments of Resident Evil, and it would also be really cool to see if they actually ask the audience members at these events whether they would like to have a Resident Evil remake, Code Veronica remake, or any other remakes like the Outbreak series, since participants of the events are going to need to sign an NDA. Now, it's also worth mentioning that these events are actually going to take place in 3 different cities, those cities being Tokyo in Japan, as well as New York and Los Angeles in the States. Now, the Japan event on Tokyo is actually going to be held on January 14th or 15th. They do give both dates since Japan is in the future, so I'm assuming January 15th for Tokyo time, and January 22nd or 23rd for the Los Angeles event, and January 25th or January 26th for the New York event. Now, it is worth noting that these events are all free of charge, but of course, they're not going to be paying for any travel costs. And if you do live in those cities or you live near those cities, the application starts from December 20th all the way till January 5th. Now, there are certain things that you need to do if you're looking to apply and actually go to the event. Now, the only thing you have to do is basically make a Capcom ID account on the Capcom website and also be a part of the ambassador program. Once you do those 2 things, you can actually apply on the article. I'll leave the link down below. But as many of you guys know, I am actually Canadian, so I'm definitely not going to go to LA or New York or Tokyo for these events. Kind of sucks that they're only having and holding these events in America and as well as Japan, not in Europe or anywhere else. So it's kind of a shame, but for anybody that can make it and is a Resident Evil fan and you either live near LA, Tokyo, or New York, I hope that you guys can go, and I do hope that you guys can make it, because if you can actually change what the Resident Evil developers are making, if you guys can give them your input, that would actually be really helpful for the Resident Evil series as a whole, since that's what this whole event is for. Now, they're actually asking fans where they want the series to go. So this is the perfect opportunity to actually have a discussion with the actual developers of Resident Evil. Well, if you guys enjoyed this week's news, then make sure to click this video if you guys want to see the top 4 news stories that happened last week, because we covered a lot. But in any case, I hope you guys have an awesome Christmas. Thanks for watching.